Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Average Movie Review podcast. This will be my spoiler-filled Fantastic Four, so we will talk about that amazing post-credit scene. We will talk about certain scenes in the film that I really liked and the story and everything. So if you haven't seen the film, go watch it. If you want a spoiler-free review of how good the film is, watch my previous video. I pretty much just go into how amazing the film is. So yeah, jumping right into it. I loved the beginning opening sequence. I thought that was really well done, giving us a little backstory of the Fantastic Four, how far they've come, where their powers have originated from. Not too much diving into the past, but giving just us enough of a glimpse for even people who don't know who the Fantastic Four are, or just like casual Marvel viewers to understand where they're coming from. Very, very well done. Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm steals this entire film from everyone. She is fantastic, absolutely amazing. Just such a great actress and does such a great job at playing her character. Pedro does a really good job as Mr. Fantastic, but I feel like I wanted more of a smarter and more, I think, obnoxious Mr. Reed Richards. I don't know if we'll ever get that, or maybe that will be an alternate timeline version or something, but I did want that, but still, regardless, given what he was given, he did a really good job, especially in scenes, in specific scenes like when he meets the Mole Man. You kind of see that side of him come out, and I wanted more of that, like the angry kind of Reed Richards. I wanted to see that Reed Richards more. Mole Man does an amazing, cameo. He's really good in the film as well. It's a very, it's that basic trope where it's like, bad guy turns kind of good situation. But again, I don't mind it. I think it's okay. I think there are certain situations where this works, and in this situation, it does work. It works pretty well. Eben Moss as the Thing, phenomenal, phenomenal. He does an amazing job as the Thing. He does an amazing job as Ben. To be quite honest, more so, I see more of Ben than I see of the Thing, which is what I like. You will learn to love him. You will feel for him. Anybody who says they did not get emotional or does not like this film or feels like it just wasn't correct is lying to you. Cough, cough, IGN. Um, there are a lot of great emotional moments. There was one or two moments where I almost teared up. Um, and overall, I would say the film was really good. The only thing I would say is like the pacing maybe could have been a little bit better because it is a little bit slow in the beginning, but it does pick up, and the action sequences are stunning, and visually the movie is just beautiful. And as I mentioned in the spoiler free review, please go watch it in IMAX. It is totally worth the money to be watching this film in IMAX because the entire film is set in IMAX. So it's just so much better. The bigger screen, the full, pretty much no black lines, nothing. It's just amazing to watch, and you don't look away for any second. What else can I tell you guys? um, the story is a very simple story. It's not something that's incredibly amazing, something that you're probably not going to be like, holy crap, like this is so good. What a convoluted or like amazing story. No, it's a very simple, very easygoing story. I would say another thing that I had an issue with, or not issue, but like I wish, or the movie lacked, in my opinion, was good action scenes in the sense of when they were fighting Galactus. I wanted to see more action. I wanted to see them come together rather than them fighting Galactus by themselves in that sense. I wanted to see more Reed Richards stuff. He doesn't get that much in terms of like using his abilities, which they kind of, spoiled if you were paying attention to the tweets and stuff and like all the pre-screenings or the test screenings. People did mention that, and I agree that he doesn't get that much of an attention in terms of his powers. Johnny and Thing get to use their powers quite a bit. Sue in the final epic battle uses her powers completely to the max capacity, which is pretty sick. But I feel like Reed Richards just didn't get that spotlight in that sense. And I feel like the fight scene was good, but it could have been better if it was just a little bit more choreographed and there was more action in the sense that like we were fighting more than Sue just kind of, how do I say, like was kind of like pushing him back towards the black hole or whatever. One thing they could have done was maybe he tripped and thing tripped on Reed by like when Reed stretches from like one side to another. That would have been a cool little thing, but it didn't really work out. Julie Garner's Shalabal, or the Silver Surfer, great job. She does an amazing job. A huge apology to her, not for me because I didn't deny or even think that she was going to do a bad job, but to those assholes out there who thought she was going to be a bad Silver Surfer, you can go suck it because she does an amazing job. The only issue I have with her, and I mentioned this in the spoiler free as well, but again, as spoiler free, is her motivations to turn good. I understand it, but I feel like it was too quick. There wasn't much of enough time for her character to really develop for her to kind of turn good and turn on Galactus at the end. Again, we already knew that was going to happen anyway. Anyone who's read the comics or knows the Silver Surfer character, like they know that they are a hero, not really a villain, or kind of like a bit of both. But I felt like that was rushed. But I understand, again, a 2-hour limit. This movie could have been, I think, 2 hours and maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and it would have been perfect. I think they would have had a little bit more time to build a few more characters, a little bit more context, and add a better fight scene at the end. What else? I think that's pretty much the entire film. Like, you will enjoy this film. You will have a good time. You will not. You will not be disappointed. I promise you that. And I feel like you will be hooked on from start to finish. I think everybody in my theater was literally glued to the screen. I don't think anybody was looking at their phones, nothing. Everybody was just watching the movie for what it was, and we were actually enjoying it. So I will say you will have a good time. So it's definitely worth a watch. That one post-credit scene that mattered. Let's just talk about that quickly. I think this is where the movie kind of tells you whether the MCU is back or not. And as I mentioned in my spoiler-free review, I think maybe they are back. It's literally 53 seconds. All we see is Franklin has grown up, 4 years old now, and him and his mom are reading stories at the house. She goes to pick up another book. She comes back. Franklin is with none other than Doctor Doom, and his mask is off, and Franklin is touching his face. Now, we only see the hooded figure. We don't actually see who's playing it. We don't know if it's Robert Downey Jr., it could be anyone else. We know that this is the shot that the Russo brothers did, so it's pretty obvious. However, I think when the entire theater, my theater especially, erupted when they saw Doctor Doom, I felt like I was transported back to the days of the Infinity Saga. I felt like I was back then when we would see Thanos for that 20 seconds, or just like another character or some sort of build up to something, and we would get hyped. That's what I felt like. So I have to give it to them. I have faith. I am coming back. I am going, wow, we might have something on our hands, and I hope they actually are able to capitalize on this. It just really matters whether how well Avengers Doomsday actually, lands on their feet. Like, can they actually pull it off? And I think with the hype building up right now, I think they can. If you're wondering, does it answer the end credits of Thunderbolts? No, it doesn't. We still have no idea what's going on. My theory is they have to send Franklin to another dimension to keep him away from Doctor Doom, or maybe he takes Franklin and they're coming to their dimension, which would be Earth, 616, to the MCU to save their son. That is also a potential theory in my head. So many options, we don't know, but I like the fact that we're keeping it a mystery. But yeah, overall, guys, like, this was a solid Marvel film, and I will say I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I think you will too. And everyone played their character to the T. The only bad sides or like cons of the film, I guess you could say, is just like simple plot line, maybe some character development needed, and maybe a little bit of lack of action scenes, and also a lack of like Reed Richards kind of doing his thing. I think that's the one thing that I really miss. I wish they had really worked on that more, because I feel like most of the Fantastic Four films do the similar thing where we kind of focus more on Johnny and the Thing and everyone else, but we don't get to see Reed really do much, except for maybe Silver Surfer and like the first Fantastic Four 2005. I think we did to see a little bit more, but I wish they would give I wish they would have given Pedro a little bit more because he was actually a pretty good read. I think he was actually pretty decent. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Movie comes out tomorrow, obviously. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's really good. I'd love to hear your theories. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of the film as well. So please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next one.